Okay, welcome everyone. I just wanted to post this video for everyone to kind of give everybody an update where we stand with what we're doing right now. Currently, we are testing our modifications that will one day be used in GTA 6, and we're using it in GTA 5 currently. GTA 5 is the only way we actually can test what we plan on doing in GTA 6 because Rockstar Game hasn't released it yet, so there's no way that we can test in that. And this whole idea for what we're doing with the Bertha Project, for those who may not know, is to raise money to support our disaster relief humanitarian effort that we are doing. And so everything that you see on our website and everything that we talk about and any t-shirts that we sell, any equipment, any NFT set programs that you see for sale, absolutely everything where we can make money, that money is to support the Bertha Project, and that is to respond to natural disasters, and in some cases, man made disasters where people are in need of services, but mostly food and water rescue is what we're doing. Meaning, rescue meaning to supply them with life saving water and other supplies that could get them through the first 12, 24, 36, 48 hours until FEMA can set up something more permanent. The vehicles, Bertha and Kiki, that is Bertha in the background, um, are designed to take those supplies basically to the curb, um, any household that's been affected, or any neighborhood or community that's been affected. And why that's a good thing is because when when a disaster occurs, a lot of cases, if you're out of food, you're out of water, you're out of electricity, you have to go and seek out the basic necessities. And water is a huge one. And it's very dangerous under this condition for family members to have to leave. Um, and if you just take a family of four and say there's mom and then there's two younger children available, and it's been you know more than 24 hours and no services have come to your community, and everyone's okay in your family. Let's say dad has to go out after a flood and try to get fresh water for the next however many days they're going to need it. Well, the first problem is the father has to leave his family, right? You want your kids and your wife in this situation to remain safe, so you don't want them out there. Um, Sinkholes can open up. There's a lot of dangers that go on after a flood. In Florida, you have to be concerned about alligators that have been misplaced and snakes, and so it's not like the father can jump into a vehicle because most likely the vehicle was underwater and won't start either. And that's one thing that after Hurricane Ian, that a lot of people discovered that were on some of these islands that they had vehicles, but none of their vehicles worked, and they couldn't leave the island even if the bridges weren't washed out. And for those who didn't have bicycles, they couldn't leave, so they're stranded, and they just had to wait until, like I said, once again, if FEMA sets something up, but FEMA doesn't come to your curb, they don't come to your door. Uh, the Bertha Project is designed to kind of fill that gap. And that's really one of the most important things. So, in this scenario, the father would stay home with his family, and if Bertha and Kiki are deployed, if the neighborhood can clean the streets, meaning if they can clear a path for our trucks to get up and down, then just kind of like an ice cream truck, um, we would just go up and down each street in each community, and we would drop either 5 gallon jugs of water for each house that's been devastated, and or we could hand out it's like 6 packs of water at a time. So a lot of that will have to be determined on a case by case basis, but the whole idea is to get these trucks to those neighborhoods within the first 12 24 hours where people really start to suffer from dehydration. And water is really the primary thing that we want to get to people. And again, it assists FEMA greatly to have trucks like this go to a location. And you got to remember, in a lot of cases, the entire state may have been hit by a hurricane, but the entire state's not affected. You may have, as an example, 5 communities that may be affected, where, like, if it's in New York, let's say maybe 5 different boroughs may have been affected. And so Kiki and Bertha are designed to start at whatever the lowest property value is. It's not designed based on race, ethnicity, or anything like that. It's just the lower property value. And the reason for that is FEMA's really kind of set up to start at in a community where economic impact will make a huge difference. So if I give you an example, let's say Orlando is hit, and let's say Celebration, Walt Disney area is hit. FEMA would be more focused on Celebration area before it would be focused on, let's say, Winter Park, that is a very nice city in Orlando, because more people travel to Celebration Disney area. So to get that area back up economically and running is vital to Florida's economy. In comparison to Winter Park, not saying that Winter Park's not important, but in this scenario on day 2, FEMA would focus on Disney Celebration area, and then they would focus on Winter Park. Bertha and Kiki are designed based on property value. So if the property value in Winter Park is less than Walt Disney, and once again, Walt Disney would be part of the devastation that was hit. So not only does FEMA have to give money to get whatever Walt Disney needs to get their doors open next week, Celebration that's in that community as well, because people who travel from all over the world need to stay in those facilities so they can go to Disney World. Again, Winter Park would be second on that list, only based on economics alone. To have Bertha and Kiki respond within the first 12 to 24 hours to Winter Park kind of assists Bertha, because we're already starting to give people who need water, mylar blankets, some type of dehydrated food, and glow sticks to get through the time. And by the time FEMA gets up and sets up a Celebration, then they find a location, say in Orlando, then the people of Winter Park can go to those locations, because FEMA's never really going to go door to door for those certain supplies. If it's announced that Bertha and Kiki are going to be operating in the area of Winter Park, and they're encouraged maybe through a text or through radio communications, or maybe just through news itself, that says, they're going to be operating in your community, make sure your streets are clear so Bertha and Kiki can access those roads. And basically then we would just drive down. There will be some type of either bell or something that will be on Bertha and Kiki, so people in communities, and once again we're kind of following the way an ice cream truck delivers ice cream to a community, or to notify the people that the ice cream truck's in that community. We're thinking about placing a a portable bell like you used to see on the front of a fire truck, and basically it would be detachable. But when we get to a community, we would put that on the front of the, or place that on the front bumper, and we basically would ring that, and it wouldn't be offensive to the community, and that's one thing that's important as well. And it's not a siren, but it is a bell, and people would be able to look out the window, and they would see us coming down, and we would be able to deliver that water to those who are out there and those who need it. And what's really good about that is, I live in Florida, and I live in a community where there are a lot of elderly around me, and they live alone, and I don't know if they have children that visit or not. Some of them, no one ever visits them, and in that situation, you know, my neighborhood was flooded, and so were those people's cars and stuff. So in that situation, Bertha and Kiki would have been perfect, because even though they're not going to bring it up to your doorway, as we go through a neighborhood and another neighbor says, hey, my elderly neighbor's there, she's not out here, but if you could drop, a water for her, I will make sure I will get it up to her front door. And that would be a way, neighbor helping neighbor. And so in the beginning, no one's going to know who or what Bertha and Kiki are. But just imagine 5 years later, and we've run more than a dozen of these, nationwide. People would know about us, and they would know how to prepare for us coming. And using the lowest property value is good, because if you really don't have much communication, and your community has been affected, and maybe not a large part, but your community has been affected. Really, if you can get on Zillow and you can say, I know, Orlando's been hit, and I know that, Moss Park and all of these different locations have really been the only places affected. I see on Zillow that our community has the lowest property value. So the radio said Bertha and Kiki will be operating in this area. So let's make sure we get out and our streets are clear so they can get up and down them. And it's really honestly that simple. At least on paper, it is that simple to do that. If we get to communities that the trucks can't get in, the trucks just won't be able to get in. If there's trees down or it's still flooding, people will have to make their way to the edge of the water. We do have amphibious vehicles, years down the road that would be part of this, that Bertha and Kiki can pull within the stacker trailers. And when we got to flooding areas, we could use those, and it wouldn't be a problem. We could continue exactly what we were planning to do. Bertha and Kiki at that point would be just a parked warehouse, and the amphibious vehicles would take water and do the same thing up and down the street, dropping off water for those who need it. And so what we're going to do today is we have a driving mod that we are testing out, and there's a lot of different modifications that will go to the actual game for Bertha and Kiki once it gets in Grand Theft Auto 6. And so now we're honestly just taking notes. So one thing is cool, what we're going to do today is way somewhere down there in the valley is a graveyard. And anybody that knows about our 17 years of research into what we call QUIN, that is quantum energy in nature. And basically, CPI Investigation is an organization that I started a long time ago. And I created a program called Iroquois Technology, and it allows us to take film footage, any film footage, and run it through the program, and it seems to detect what we believe are muon tau particle neutrinos. Our software does not allow us to to confirm if the particles are muon and tau particle neutrinos. But if you basically know about particles itself, it would lead you to believe that's what they are. So the images that we have discovered in those 17 years of research are incredible. When you look at the Bertha Project and you hear about the Dimensional Anthropology Museum, that is based on that research. You know, the reason these trucks are parked out or in a museum is because that's where all of this started. And without that research, we would have never gotten to where we are now to be able to consider doing what we're about to do. So it all starts with the CPI investigation that led to the Dimensional Anthropology Museum. That was online museum for about 2 months, and as soon as we launched, it really sent us into this direction. And just because you start out doing one thing in life doesn't mean that you can't follow different paths that will take you in different locations. And even though you're in this location, you can still bring along, you know, what kind of led you there. You don't have to abandon that. And so that, you know, that's what we're doing. We're not abandoning our research theoretically, but it has definitely led us into a new location that is going to be more beneficial to mankind. It's going to be a new way to respond to disasters and to get people what they need. So we're only starting out with 2 trucks. Maybe in the future, this program will be successful, and then nationwide, worldwide, it may be the way we handle incidents. But we're not going to know any of that until we actually start performing those tasks with these trucks by designing them, getting them out there, and see if they make a difference. It's a solid idea, and it would be a shame if it never got any further than a video game of that. But we're pretty sure it's not going to set on the drawing board. We really believe it can make a difference. And if you talk to anyone who's ever been affected and been stuck on an island that didn't exist the day before with no water and no help coming, you know, they would be the first person that says, you know, how much can I donate to this? You know, $5? Sure. $5 a dollar is good. But we don't take the traditional donation. We have something called a crypto donation or crypto donation. And what that is your donation. You just don't give money to us and say, you guys, I wish you the best. You go to the Bertha.com website or the BerthaProject.com website, and you purchase different items that we have on there, and part of that money goes towards building this project. And you say, well, where's the other part of the money go? Well, it goes towards the entities that are building this stuff. So, for example, when you go buy a sweatshirt, we are not printing those sweatshirts out. We have a company that is. So the company takes their cut for printing the sweatshirts out and mailing those to you, as an example. So what happens to the rest of the money? That is what goes into the Bertha Project. That goes into the tires, the truck, the development, the diesel fuel, all the equipment, the research and development. And remember, we have to buy the water, the mylar blankets, and all of that. Again, I'm sure FEMA along the way will, help us with our water supply and other things. So that's really the division of it. In the beginning, most of what we do are volunteers, but the operation director will be a paid position. I think that we determined that in our proposal, that's going to be $189,000 a year job. Will that be me? Well, it will be me in the beginning until we hire someone else to do it. I don't want it to be me because I kind of really want to oversee kind of everything. With the video games, we have an animated series. When you go in and look, you can watch the first episode. It's in 2D. but you can watch and hear the entire episode from beginning to end of our animated series. We're working on a full length feature film that we want to produce as well. The video games, you can see we're already well ahead of most organizations that are getting off the ground here, that we're already in the testing for the GTA 6 part. And then if you, once again, you go to our website, you'll see that we are also creating a Saturday morning video game experience for working adults, for adults. I mean, for me, as busy as I am with all of this and kind of, working with all of these different designers and people, I'm constantly, I have about as much time once a week to play a video game. And that video game is not GTA 5, it's different. It's called the King's Challenge. And it is designed for anybody at any age, really kind of adults, to show up Saturday morning. And there's a reason why we pick Saturday morning. And it's only going to be for 2 or 3 hours, and it should be fun. We're really not really letting the cat out of the bag, exactly, because we don't want anybody to really steal our idea, because we really think it's a pretty cool idea. And so yeah, so once a week, adults can look forward to getting up at 10 o'clock in the morning and joining us, this interactive live video game, and it's kind of a competition. And you do that for a couple hours, and then if you enjoy it, you show up next Saturday and you do the same thing. And that's how we think that adults can get interested in a game that should be fun and not have to get proficient at it. I mean, to be good at a game, the way games are designed today, you got to spend 1,000 hours playing them. Our game, you'll be able to show up the first day and be able to win at this game. And there is a cash prize for winning, being first, second, or third in it. So you could wake up Saturday and be, I don't know, $100 more richer than you were, Friday night. And so that's, without continuing with that, that's, what we're looking at and considering. But back to what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be testing out this smooth driving mod, and there'll be a description in it somewhere around here to tell you who developed that, who created that. But we're going to try that with Bertha today, and we need to be able to make what we do smooth. So when you go and you do play this game in GTA 6, it works as good as we can and get it. And that's one thing. Second thing is, when it comes to our research, one thing that we had considered years ago was to use these styles of trucks to do overnight research. And one place where we wanted to do overnight research was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and the battlefields. We wanted to record there and use those recordings to run the Iroquois technology, just to see if any of these particles of Quinn would show up. We just thought it would be extremely interesting. And so today, since we have to drive and test all of this, one place that we're going to go is actually to a graveyard. And that's going to simulate Gettysburg. If you've ever been to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and you drive around there are clearly graves that are there. So we are going to simulate that today, and one thing that we do have is a flashlight. So whenever we do get to the graveyard down there, we're going to walk around. And I can tell you right now, I've never been to the graveyard. I looked it up on the map, and you can see over here in the lower corner, that purple dot there, or purple, whatever, I don't even know what that is. It's got 4 little dots to it. Well, anyway, so that is apparently where the graveyard is. So we're going to drive to that, test the driving modification out here, and when we get down there, we are going to, I guess, walk around the graveyard. So let's get started. mode. So, the game, when you're playing it with Kiki, eventually will be if you make contact with any vehicle, Bertha cuts off. That's not what we're in. We're not in that mode today. So we'll probably hit everything you can imagine because, again, we're testing this new mod out. And you can see the display on the right side. And this mod is designed to make driving smooth. I've never used it, so this is the first time. And something similar like that is what we'll place into the controls of the GTA. Wow. GTA game. Turn signals here, left, right, right works. Okay, four ways are working good. All right, so it is definitely dark up here in these hills, and of course, these cars do not cut you a break. They are definitely aggressive, and so I guess this guy's gonna let me go. So this mod that we're using, this smooth driving, it's really designed to make the wheels, steering wheel, turn a little slower because without it, everything's kind of real jerky and it makes the box of the truck. It's designed for cars, but it's really, I think it's going to be more perfect for what we're doing with these trucks. And right now, we're just about ready to complete the tractor trailer support trucks that will run with Bertha and Kiki as well. Each Bertha and Kiki both get a support vehicle with them, and those vehicles are Peterbilt 359 tractor trailers with curtain side trailers. They're like 53-foot trailers, 102 wide, and they're designed to, because you got to understand, for example, let's say that we're working with FEMA, and FEMA says, okay, when it comes to the state of Florida, we have several locations where we have warehouse facilities that already has water for disaster replenishment. And so they would give Bertha and Kiki access to those locations. And under normal conditions, we would go to a community, we would give all the water and supplies that we can, and then we would go to one of those FEMA locations, and when we would reload Bertha and Kiki, and then we would continue like that. The problem of it is if those warehouses are underwater, and of course Bertha and Kiki can't even get there, where do we get the water to give out to the community? You say, well, just go to some grocery store. Well, it really doesn't work that way. Someone has to pay for the money. Those grocery stores need their water for the people in their community. And who's to say that those grocery stores or facilities wouldn't be underwater as well? So, for the Bertha Project, we always have to assume all of that will happen in situations. And it doesn't do us any good to say, well, we're going to start out at the lower property value if we don't have any water to give out. So it's vital that Bertha and Kiki both have support units that can bring, as much water as we can get on it. So basically, I have designed the tractors and the trailer all custom to be support for both the Bertha and Kiki. And when you go on the website, you'll see a video that will show and highlight those trucks. And everything that I design, I do the design basically to the T the way I want it, and even the way I expect each truck and vehicles to actually function in real world applications. And then I turned that over to my artists and the coders, the game developers, and they basically bring it to life. And then they give that back to me, and then we put it on the GTA platform, and then I test it. But all the designs you see, I created from literally the ground up. And so the tractor trailers as well will be the second part of the gaming version for GTA 6. So the initial part of the game is for you as the driver of Bertha to follow Kiki without hitting any vehicles or anything along the way as she tries to make it to Miami. And of course, you already understand if you hit anything, you have to stop, you have to put out flares, and you have to do all that. So, clearly at some point we have to make the game a little easier, so it's a little less challenging to get to Miami successfully. The second part of the game, if you get there, is Bertha and Kiki made it there successfully. They've given out their supply of water that they actually carry on the units itself, but there's thousand more bottles of water and supply water that is needed. So the second part is the tractor trailers. You have to go back and fly back to Maryland, get in the tractor trailer, and follow the Kiki tractor trailer to Miami. And it's a very long truck. It bends in the middle, and that will be the extreme challenging part of that game. And that alone should just be fun. Any turns that you have to make, you would have to be careful to watch both sides. You can go up on curves and all that, but you can't side swipe any cars. And however, the Kiki support tractor trailer that you'll be following decides to get to Miami, we don't even know. So it's the same principle. Once you break down, you will have to, or if you hit anything, the truck's going to cut off, and you'll have to figure out at that point what you need to do to get all the flares out before the police come. And of course, if the police come, they're going to start shooting you, and you're going to have to be able to catch up with the support tractor trailer of Kiki. Whoop. Man, I ran into the back of that guy. So, luckily, we're not playing in the game where the police would be called. Generally, in the GTA, the guy that you run into would get out of the car and come back and pull you out of the vehicle, but for some reason he didn't do that, but I did knock the back of his window out. But so anyways, like I said, when the police in the actual game starts chasing you, we have tested it a couple times, and it's interesting because as you see the purple dot there as we go to the graveyard, when you're playing the game, that purple dot would be the location of Kiki, and or when you're in the tractor trailers, Kiki, the support vehicle. And so you know what direction you have to go to try to catch up with Kiki, right? With the police chasing you, they're shooting you, they're cutting you off. It is so easy to turn, you're trying to get away from them, so you end up going down roads that you normally wouldn't take to get back close to where Kiki is, or even continue in the direction where Kiki is. You get so focused on running from the police and trying to outmaneuver them that more times than not, you'll look over at that map and you're going in the wrong direction. I think I ran in the wrong direction for like 10 minutes because I was more focused on getting away from the police. They were shooting my tires out. They dispatch a helicopter, and so the helicopter shows up. They shoot you from the helicopter. So they send out these huge like paddy wagons as well to block your way. They put down spike strips, so they will not stop until you get within 5 seconds of Kiki. Well, that's why we've never made it to Miami. In my first video, I never showed that part because they actually, blew up Bertha, and I never got a chance to go anywhere. But if I was able to drive away, you would have realized they call like every police car in the state, and they're all shooting at you. So you really, really get wrapped up in the game, and you have some place to go. You have to try to catch Kiki just to get them to stop. But every time that we've tried it, I've got shot and killed. I've gotten blown up, or I just get arrested. They eventually just get you in a situation where they block you in, you can't go anywhere. Then they open the door, and then they just arrest you. It really has been just an enjoyable game. I enjoy it more than playing just the GTA 5 game alone. And not that I really play it. When GTA 5 came out, I don't know, 12 years ago or something like that, I played it. And but since we've been testing, and this is where we decide to build a game that's based on the reality of what we are attempting to do. The GTA 6 game platform that hasn't come out yet, the timing for us to be able to do this is just perfect. So this is also helps us with brand recognition of what we're trying to do. So to let you know, we are getting close to the graveyard now, and I just wanted to say that I have a audio video of I was at a location that I was invited to that working with these ghost hunters, and they believe that the location where I was going was haunted. They end up sending me some film. I end up running through the Iroquois technology, and so I did get a bunch of images from that, and I end up sharing it with them. So they end up inviting me to the house. Do I believe in ghosts? I believe in my images. I know that the images that I discovered within film footage is something. Are the images that I'm discovering, is that what people have been seeing? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what people have claimed to see or not. Officially, do we have any proof that there's afterlife? Absolutely not. The Iroquois technology only shows us, only detects these particles. These particles happen to look like images of people. Are we seeing what we think we're seeing? We don't know. Do the majority of the people see what we see when we show them the images? Yeah, they do. But we don't have any proof that there's an afterlife, and we have no proof that the images that we discovered through the use of Iroquois technology is proof of any form of human or animal that would be in this parallel dimension. We don't have a proof of any of that. That's why we call everything that we show and discover entertainment. It's even though the tools that we use are scientific in the sense that it was created by me and my organization, and we use it as to study these particles that we discover within film footage, but that doesn't mean that it's supernatural at all. We just don't know. We have no way of knowing. And for us, that's good enough. We're just fascinated by the images and fascinated with how the technology has discovered what is discovered at this point. So yeah, so for us it's just fun, it's entertaining, and we want to share it with the world. So whatever they think it is, or what they think it's not, that's fine with us. We are not trying to convince the world that we have discovered something that's not out of this world, or definitely otherworldly. We just want to share it, and sharing it is just cool enough for us. So we are here now, and I'm going to walk through if I can get in here. And so I'm going to share the actual audio from when I was in what the ghost hunters called, not us, a haunted house. I was just invited there as a researcher. So to me, it wasn't a haunted house, even though we had images that came from that house. I'm just a scientist, I'm just a researcher. They send me footage, I run it through. Sometimes I don't get anything, and other times I get these incredible images. Well, the video, audio that we had gotten from that location, I've never played to anyone, and I don't think anyone's ever heard it. So I'm going to walk around, and at some point, I'm going to play that audio for you guys. And so, again, nothing that we show should anybody say, "Oh, that's the sound of a ghost." We don't know if even ghosts exist. No one should say, it is supernatural. We don't even know what supernatural is. It's just a term. What we're sharing is just a factual event. What it is, we don't know. What we're hearing, I put the words up and what I think I'm hearing. I know that I was in the house, I was in the foyer where this was recorded, and nobody was around me. Absolutely no one was around me, and definitely nothing that sounded like that. So I just think for this video, since we had to test the smoothness mod, that's okay. It's really slow and sluggish as it moves off. Is it something that we could apply into the GTA 6? Yeah, we might be able to. It might work out pretty cool. And so let's walk around here. Got my flashlight, and let's see if we can hear anything. I hope we don't hear anything. I mean, it's a video game, right? What's the chances of something running up on us, right? I mean, I guess there could be something out here. Somebody else. Well, I'm not online, so nobody should run up. But I don't know. It's a graveyard. I've never been here. I don't know that much about the graveyard in GTA 5. Do they have something that runs around here at night? I mean, I don't know. So I don't know. I feel a little anxious. You guys feel anxious while you're watching this? I don't know why. I guess anything that has to do with graveyard seems, that can make you anxious, I guess, just walking around in it. So, but it does, I mean, the animation, the quality that this platform uses, and to let people know, Mark Zuckerberg has this, he came out so early about this metaverse thing, and really just did the most stupidest thing, in my opinion, that anyone could have done. And my personal opinion on what Mark Zuckerberg did by trying to claim the metaverse is equal to this. Imagine the Daytona 500. It's February. You just showed up, and the race is getting ready to start, and you are a race car driver. All right? And the Daytona 500 is going to start in an hour. Imagine walking over to the microphone and telling everybody that you are ready to collect the championship trophy for that year, that is only given at the end of the year after you have raced all the races, okay? And you tell the media before the very first race of the year, before the Daytona 500, that you are ready to collect the championship's trophy. In my opinion, that's what Mark Zuckerberg did when he came out and changed his name to Meta and proclaimed the metaverse to be his. Right? It's like you haven't even won the race, number one. Number two, there's other corporations other than you, Mark, like ours, that are out there building things that are for the metaverse. but not for his metaverse. He's talking about something that's completely opposite than what we're building at the Bertha Project. But our museum and all of that is and will be part of the metaverse. This GTA 6 experience in the game will be basically a metaverse game. So for anyone who wants to experience what the real life Bertha and Kiki could be like, can do so years from now in the GTA 6. They can wear the uniforms, they can drive the trucks, they can the exact trucks, because these models that I created will be given to Peterbilt and they will create the exact models that you're looking at now. And that is what makes our direction into the metaverse, experience unique over what Mark Zuckerberg, whatever he's doing with his cartoon carriers in Horizon World. I don't know what that is. And when you look at the detail just in this, in GTA 6, it's going to be even more magnificent than this is going to be. So just for the interactive GTA game that we're doing, and we're waiting for GTA 6 to come out, that is an immersive game. People can play that. They can say, hey man, it's pretty cool to drive these trucks, follow, Kiki to Miami. When you get there, you have to go drive the tractor trailer version of it. You can't, it's almost like Operation, where you can't touch the sides or it buzzes. That was a cool game in the 70s. This is kind of similar with large trucks that are, that are in traffic, that artificial intelligent vehicles are around you, that the programming of what we're doing has nothing to do with that. So, every experience, every time you play this game is going to be new and different. So, Mark Zuckerberg gave the metaverse a black eye and a bad name because, these guys are trying to monetize something from the beginning. I don't believe that's the way to get people interested in something that's not developed yet. Our museum is completely free. The images that are going to be in there are really otherworldly. What they are, we don't know. But you're not going to see any other museum in the entire universe like our museum, with over nearly 100 images from our 17 years of research. And I would say 70% of the images that are going to be in there, no one's ever seen, other than my researchers. No one has ever seen some of these images. Just as an example, one of the images that we captured in Maryland is a saber-toothed tiger. And there's two of them. You can see that is maybe the female, and you can see the long teeth on either side. And then there's a smaller one on the left side of it. Is it a saber-toothed tiger? I mean, they went extinct, right? But our images, or the aircoid technology, seems to capture anything of any type of energy that ever existed in the world. So, I mean, there's images in there that look like they're 500,000 years old, if not older than that. And we have plenty of them. A lot of them are primates that are called hominids. And these hominids look like different species of man along the way, like in the last 2 million years. And I have at least 12 of them that are going to be displayed in there. What they are, I have no idea. But I know some of them are wearing clothing, not modern day. Some of them are wearing helmets. One of them has a red ruby that's actually cut in what looks like a helmet. Some of them wearing helmets and they have like small tusks that come down from like where your sideburns would be and curve up toward the corner of the mouth. So yeah, the images you're going to see in this museum are incredible. Are they real? They're as real as they come from film footage. Are they proof of anything? Is that saber-toothed tiger truly a saber-toothed tiger, has energy of the world been imprinted, and has my program been able to bring those prints out? It could be. I mean, we don't know. Um, we don't want to turn it over to science because they make everything ugly when it comes to something like this. So we just want to make it, entertainment. We just tell people, listen, it's just entertainment. You don't have to take it serious. Look at it, see it for what it is. Either you go, wow, that's pretty cool. That could be a saber-toothed tiger. Or you can go, I don't think it is one, and you just move on and you just walk around. But the experience will be free. It's not going to cost you anything to go in and look at all of these images that I have basically kept under lock and key for at least 15 years. And so to be able to display it as entertainment to the world, I'm really excited about that. And then I have four um, observational documentaries that you can go into the IMAX, and then you can just buy a ticket and you can watch it. And how it's going to work is you'll have your 3D glasses on, and you sit on your couch at home. And what happens when the movie starts, you'll be in the movie theater, and you can turn your head, and the movie theater will be full of people, and you'll watch, all the advertisements before, just like you're sitting in the movie theater. You'll be able to look left and right, and you won't be able to get up and move like you shouldn't, but you'll be able to be in there, and then you'll hear small whispers of people in there, but it'll be full, and you'll be in your seat, and then the movie will start, and you'll watch, the documentaries that I made, and they're very interesting. And once again, they're just observational. I've taken some important events that have happened, and went back and looked at the footage, the public footage, and I made my own observation of the evidence that's in there. And so, yes, pretty entertaining. But once again, it's still just entertainment. That's what all of this is about. So nobody should take it that serious. They should just look at it for what it is. And that, or those examples that I just gave, that is the metaverse. That is the metaverse. You'll be able to play GTA 6. You'll be able to drive the real styling trucks of the Bertha Project. You can go over to the museum by putting your 3D, goggles, glasses on, or whatever they're called, the VR headset on, if you choose to, and you'll be able to walk around. Doesn't cost you anything around in there. And then if you're interested in all the images you've seen in there, then say, you know what, I'd like to see a little bit more. Let me go over and buy a ticket for, I don't know how much a ticket's going to be, $5 or something like that for a documentary. And you buy it, and then it puts you in the theater, and the theater's full, so you're going to be immersed. You're going to feel like there's real people in there, and you'll be able to turn your head and look around, and you'll be able to answer the goofy question that comes up on the screen, just like in a real movie theater. And then the lights will dim down, and then the documentary will start, and you'll sit there for an hour and a half or whatever it is, sitting on your couch, and you'll watch the documentary in there, and then it'll end, and you go, okay, I spent $5 for this documentary, but where's your $5 going? It's going into the Bertha Project. So again, everything that you buy, everything that we sell on there, that money, a portion of that money is either going to pay the companies that are designing, or selling and shipping, like, the items that you buy, like the sweatshirts and pencils and all of that stuff and backpacks. Portion of that money is going to them, and all the other money is going either to, to pay the person who's running the operations, or the assistant, whatever assistant that he or she may have, and then to keep the lights on to, to the rec center where the trucks are going to be parked. It's called the Dimensional Anthropology Museum Community Center, and to buy balls and whatever else community center needs, and garden hoses and just everything. So other than the positions that are being paid, none of that money is going into anybody's park. You have to work for the Bertha Project to get money from it. And even for myself, that that, you know, that is the founder of all of this, at some point I won't work for the Bertha Project in a sense. I'll oversee it. So my position may not be a paid position. We may only have enough money to pay the operations director, and eventually that will not be me. That'll be someone else. But I'll be overseeing the movies, full-length movies that we're doing, the animated series, and the gaming and stuff like that. So that's kind of how this whole thing is set up. And also, and lastly, before I play the audio, and then that will be the last thing I do. But if you go on our site, you'll notice that Bertha and Kiki are getting 4 cameras on the corners of the trucks. So what that means is whenever they're deployed, you'll be able, if you're at home or wherever, you'll be able to tune in and watch a live stream of those trucks going down 95, heading south, the conditions they're in. Once they get on location, all the water they're handing out, that's all going to be live streamed the entire time. People who own the Green Library card, they have free access to that. The general public who wants to follow along can pay a $5 fee for 5 days of coverage or something, and then if they want more. And the whole idea is most likely we're not going to be out for more than 5 days. So 5 days should be enough. So if you pay $25, let's say, for coverage, you'll have, for $25 you'll have 5 days of coverage. And you'll be able to see as we go into these devastated areas, and you get a different look at it. Again, where does that money go? It all goes to pay for everything that we're doing. So, we don't want anybody to believe that we're doing this so we can get rich and go buy a bunch of yachts and park them down in Miami. I know people do that, but we designed the whole thing where the money we earn either goes to pay either salaries, the vehicles, the structures, the property that we own, and then the third-party manufacturing companies that we're working for. So the money all goes someplace, and it's just not going to sit around. And so thank you for watching and watching us all the way, or watching me all the way to the end and listening to me. And I'll have periodic videos to keep you up to where we're at. And here is the audio that was around me in a house that I was invited to. I was in a foyer, and this question was asked to me. I didn't hear it, but it was on the video. And that's all I know. And I'll see you guys later. Ciao.